We got to talk about Elizabeth Warren. She's back in the news, telling Meet the Press that she does not like Jerome Powell. Let's cut to that clip here for a second.
Pretty clear you don't have confidence in Jay Powell. Do you think the president should fire him?
Look, my views on Jay Powell are well known at this point. He has had two jobs. One is to deal with monetary policy. Yeah. One is to deal with regulation. He has failed at both.
Right. Would you advise President Biden to replace him?
Look, I don't think he should be chairman of the Federal Reserve. I have said it as publicly as I know how to say it. I've said it to everyone.
Some spicy takes from the Massachusetts senator, and definitely something that a lot of people are thinking of right now, of course. Jerome Powell has had a pretty tough tenure as head of the Federal Reserve. Even back during the Trump administration, there was a lot of pressure to remove him from his seat. Why? Well, because he has to follow a dual mandate. Of course, that being lower interest rates and price stability. We've had a tough problem with that right now because we need to increase in interest rates in order to lower inflation. A lot of people are not liking that, and it's putting a lot of pressure on average Americans, also putting a lot of pressure on our favorite crypto coins. Wendy, I want to throw this one over to you. This is actually a lot of rhetoric that Warren has said in the past, calling Jerome Powell a dangerous man at one point. So I wouldn't say this is anything necessarily new, but in the midst of a banking crisis, I think we could see some more pressure and possibly a change of the seat if it becomes acute enough.
Well, this is the thing. Elizabeth Warren has told blatant lies on Twitter, especially about crypto. And it's very problematic because she has such a big audience. And that kind of goes back to, make sure if you have a large audience, you got to be careful what you say. It's okay to give perspective and opinion on something, but at the same time, she has sat there and she's lied. Should Jerome Powell be removed? I don't know. I personally don't think that I need somebody with a very expensive piece of paper telling me what to do with my money. I know how to budget my money properly. I don't think that they should have raised interest rates as rapidly as they did. It did hurt Americans, so I will agree with Elizabeth on that. But again, I also feel like a solution to this could be decreasing taxes. Give Americans more money to take home. That would help stimulate the economy. So there's a lot of things that do need to be done, but at the same time, I don't think we need geriatrics in office or in charge of monetary policies that are so detached from reality. And I also think that public servants should be forced to make minimum wage. Zach.
Ooh, I don't know. I got nothing on that. I mean, hey, wow, that's like the 3-point plan. The Wendy O campaign just kicked off right there. So I got nothing. I got no established talking points on this one. It is funny to see them feud and to have this beef, but it's not especially new. Liz Warren has been saying stuff like this for a while in various channels, platforms, and elsewhere. But Will, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, just to Winnie's point, I think if you're on Twitter and have a large account, you're not lying, then you're probably using Twitter incorrectly. But I just want to fact check myself really quickly here. For the most part, for the dual mandate of the Fed, the purpose is to keep prices stable and maximum employment as opposed to keeping in the inflation level solid. And we've seen a lot of trouble with that, right? The Fed has had a hard time keeping that dual mandate alive. The employment rate has been something to watch for quite a while, right? They've been trying to increase the employment rate, just like we've talked about in the hash time and time again, the unemployment rate. And that's been really hard to move up from around its 3 to 4% level for whatever reason. The Fed is still trying to figure that out actually itself. And they're going to keep increasing interest rates. We're expecting possibly another increase this week in order to increase that unemployment rate. And I think they're going to keep pushing on that. And what you're going to see with politicians who are getting calls from constituents back home saying, hey, this is making me uncomfortable. Inflation's really biting into me. They're going to be calling more into the Fed. There's going to be more pressure on Jerome Powell. I think we're just going to see this increase, more rhetoric between these different government bodies against each other. In the backdrop, we got Bitcoin going up. So it's kind of a nice little fight right here. Zach, I'll throw it to you as we go to the next story.
Yeah, just a quick thought. At its core, it's look how politicized money is or is becoming, right? I don't think this is necessarily new that money is a political, tool, bludgeon, you name it. But you see these fights unfolding in a very political way. And you see, I think, the blowback, especially as it relates to the crypto industry with this whole debanking crisis that we're seeing with SVB, with Signature, with Silvergate. It is really fascinating to hear, you've long heard about the I can't even say it, how political money is being as being an issue, right? And that's what Bitcoin presents. It presents sort of a neutral alternative to these political spats that we see ensnaring even Fed chairs.